All right. So, John, looks like we've got some numbers now to look at for June. And I guess there's two ways to look at it. We can look at it from the numbers where we were, but also kind of a gut feel what's been going on. If anything,
Hmm.
I think one thing to talk about the market today is that we don't sugarcoat it. We got to talk about it for what it is. It's got some ups and it's certainly got some downs. But what was your sense of what happened in the month of June?
Well, we to go even further back, from the beginning of the year, we saw the first quarter follow usual seasonal trends, but second quarter, April, May, and June, the new listings, as you'd expect, up 15, 20 points, depending on the community, month over month. But sales did not keep pace. And in fact, most communities kind of flatlined, which meant your days on market was growing, the inventory was stacking up. And as a result, that had a softening effect on prices. And there'll be a few highlights here and there depending on a unique property or a certain neighborhood, but for the most part, it's been pretty soft.
I'd agree. I mean, the sense I got over the course of the month, especially watching my listings out there, a couple sold, but most did not. They sat, and showing activity has been down, offer activity has been down. So that gave you a sense of kind of what's going on if you were dealing with some listings out there. And it didn't feel good for the month of June for in a lot of cases. I mean, we had a few wins here and there, but for the most part, it didn't feel like what we were expecting. And then when you look at the numbers, again, I kind of jump in the numbers uh, to guide where we're going. And for me, looking at the markets we track, we track 80 neighborhoods across
Yeah.
Alton, Toronto, the Hamilton region, as far as Guelph. We have 80 neighborhoods that we track for people. And of those 80 neighborhoods, 75% of them were in a buyer's market position, meaning they had over 3.5 months of inventory they were carrying. We haven't seen that since pre-pandemic numbers. Even through 22, when the rates started going up, we didn't see those numbers. And what's happening is we're seeing 3 times the inventory come on the market of what's selling. Every house that sells, we get 3 new ones that come on the market.
Yeah.
So that's had a profound impact on that inventory level. And then that trickles down and has an effect on everything else. Pricing is starting to sit out there and have to come down in order to get to a point where having transactions or homes sold. And it's having a profound impact of what's happening across the real estate market and what that perception is.
Yeah, I can give you a good example. Hamilton region, so the entire region, including the city, Stony Creek, Waterdown, Dundas, Ancaster, you'd have to go back to October 2011, so almost 13 years to find as many homes on the market as we have today. And that's not to say houses aren't selling, but they have to be priced very well, if not aggressive. They have to show the part, so well prepared, either renovated, staged, or some combination thereof, and they've got to be priced right. Um, it's one of those things where you're going to sit if all of those factors don't come together in a nice presentation for a buyer, chances are your days on market's going to be a bit long and your experience might be a little bit, a little off of where you thought you might be.
John, I find a lot of buyers now are looking at homes if they haven't sold yet. I've actually seen offers come back where we have an offer with a condition of sale built in, and I've seen that on a number of different deals that I've been working on, but I've
Mhm.
heard it on a lot of different deals as well, where buyers just don't have the confidence to go in with an offer firm, based on financing and whatnot. They really are tying it to the sale of their own home, and because of that, those long days on market, I'm finding more and more sellers are accommodating it.
Well, if they've been sitting for 2 or 3 months, and an offer comes in, even if it's got a sale of property, well, chances are they might entertain it. They're going to want to know about that property that has to be sold. What's the game plan? What's the strategy? What's the price? How does it present? All that kind of stuff. And how quickly will it be on market?
Yep.
I've got one right now. I've got buyers who had an offer accepted, conditional on sale of their property. We were able to get their property on quickly, and hopefully it all comes together. But you start stacking a few of those together, you could have a chain reaction that either goes really well or a domino effect that goes poorly if one of them
Absolutely.
falls apart.
I have two deals out there right now that have two buyer deals right now that have a condition of sale attached to them. We are on the market, and again, now because we're under that condition with another property, we can't accept a condition on that side because,
No,
like I
exactly.
said,
And
creates a
you
chain
shouldn't.
reaction. So, I mean, with the market being down as much as it is right now, inventory stacking up, sales are continuing to decline. John, what do you think the driving factor is? We got our interest rate cut back in June. They finally cut the rate, which signaled the Bank of Canada was done increasing at the very least. And we've come down, I mean, it was only a quarter point. It didn't change everybody's world the way they thought. But it seems like even since then, the market has continued to slow down. And I get the summer slow, but this just feels unusual. What do you think is driving it?
Well, I think a quarter point, as you said, isn't going to change your world. And I think the reality is many buyers need to see more substantial relief in terms of rate. And a quarter point isn't enough. So whether we get two, three, four more quarter point, I think until you see close to a full rate reduction, full 1 point rate reduction from the peak, there's a good chance that things will remain soft. And even if we turn that corner, and we will at some point, like, don't get me wrong, at some point, buyers will feel compelled to jump back off the sidelines because, generally speaking, when rates go down, buyer activity and prices tend to go up. And, the opposite's true as well. So there'll be a tipping point where they start to think, okay, this might be as low as prices are, we should jump in. We're just not there yet. And seasonality plays a role. It is summer, it's hot, people want to go to cottages and travel and do whatever. But supply and demand is always the name of the game. And how many times have you been asked when's the best time to sell your house? And before you can answer, they say spring, right? And you say,
Yeah.
well, maybe, but but usually it's when the demand is high and supply is low. And right now, the opposite's true. We've got low demand and high supply. And
And the
I
funny
think
thing is,
I was gonna say, even when we get to a point where maybe buyers are starting to come back, there's so much inventory, it'll take a little bit of time to soak that up. So we
absolutely.
might be a few months off before we see a robust market like we would normally have seen in the spring, and of course didn't get.
Well, I mean, it's one of the things that I'm seeing out there. I'm telling clients that I'm working with, I mean, I'm running around with people looking at houses, they're not pulling the trigger. And I tell people, this is the time to buy. This is the market you want to buy in because the buyers out there that are shopping, that are looking for homes, and I get they got a home to sell on the other end, they're concerned about that. But especially the people that are not worried about the interest rates. So the downsizers that are unloading their larger home and
Yeah,
moving to a smaller home, you know, yeah, you're gonna lose a bit on the sale of your home, possibly with the market slipping back a bit, but you're gonna get a deal on the home you're buying. And if you're not worried about interest rates, that upsize couple that wants to move into that
now's the
next size
time.
up. If it's not a finance issue in the sense that you've been approved for the money to buy the home, there's no better time to buy than right now.
Yeah,
And
it comes down to the differential in most cases, right?
yeah, I
So
mean, the
if
money
you're
you're going to
buying
save on the
low,
purchase today versus what you're going to pay in the interest in the short term. And every mortgage broker I've been dealing with are already 3-year mortgages right now. I mean, I
yeah,
think that's where the best discounts are. Nobody's doing 5-year mortgages. And a matter of fact, the banks are not even encouraging 5-year mortgages because they don't even know what's going to happen with the bond market 5 years out. So they're
yeah.
hedging their bets and they're doing 3-year mortgages, which seems to have the best rate right around that 5 number, a little bit under, depending who you're dealing with. But if you take all that into account, if you're buying and you're making that move to a home and mortgages are a concern, you're going up. Now's the time to buy. You'll save more money and you can renegotiate your mortgage if the rates do come down greater than 1%. It's just not happening. People are just sitting back and waiting. And I think it's a bigger issue than housing right now. I think it's just a whole economic issue. All of our expenses have
Yeah.
gone up and it's made that leap to that next level extremely difficult for people to do. So you can't blame them at the same time.
No, and you look at first-time buyers or those who maybe don't have as many resources available to them, they're always going to be cautious. And despite advice about when the best time is pricing wise, they may not follow that. You've mentioned now is a great time price wise. And if
But it
financing
only
isn't
makes sense if you can afford it, right?
well, yeah, but I've been having a lot of conversations lately with clients who are considering a buy and a sell, and what the bright ones who are really focused on their financial picture are saying to me. I mean, I had one guy just this week say, I'm not really concerned about the sale price of my house. All I care about is the differential between it and the one I'm buying.
Yeah.
And now it would be an upsize price wise. And so, yeah, it matters. But it matters even less if you're going the other way, as you said. You're
Yeah,
downsizing, chances are you're not even going to have financing on the other end of your downsizing price wise.
yeah.
But that differential is the key, as the saying goes, you sell low, or sorry, buy low, you sell low. And if you buy high, you sell high. Like if your two transactions are timed closely together in the same market, you're not going to be lucky enough to sell high and buy low. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, it'd be nice if
No,
it did,
not very often.
so, I think that the prudent buyer will, and seller for that matter, should be timing their transactions as closely together as they can. And as you said, maybe look at short-term financing as opposed to a 5 year. And chances are, like we chat every month about this, and if not weekly or daily, but we're going to find ourselves 6 months from now, in likely a different rate environment,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it'll probably be a better one.
So those out there that are looking at the market who can't commit to making that change, and I mean that along the lines of they want to make a move, there's just, they've got something holding them back, and you have to sell when it's right for you. Obviously, nobody should do it just because of a market condition. The advice I have for these people is if it is something that's on the horizon for you, now's the time to start getting ready. Because when you do find the house you want, if you're not ready, you're going to be scrambling and you're going to miss some things along the way, and you may not get the best advantage, or get to take advantage of the best market if that's what you're waiting for. So if it is something that you're planning in the next, 6, 8, 10, 12 months, now is the time to start preparing. Get us in, let's have a conversation, let's walk through the house, let's see what needs to be done or doesn't need to be done. Again, this whole thing of renovating the cell, I think, is not a wise move, but that doesn't mean you can't fix things, clean things up, get things ready. A coat of paint goes a long way. Just cleaning up the house and getting rid of the things that you're not going to be taking with you. And one of the things that I find is people are still struggling to get rid of furniture they no longer want. The kids don't want it, family
Yeah.
doesn't want it, Kijiji doesn't want it, Marketplace doesn't want it, and all the donation centers don't want it. So more often than not, unfortunately, it ends up in the landfill. And the
Mhm.
last thing you want to do is move it from one house to the next and get rid of it then. Don't pay to move it. Start working on that now, not 6 days before you're going to go on the market. And the ones that
No,
are doing that will be in a much stronger position and under a lot less stress when the time comes to get ready to sell.
especially if you got a sale of property condition in there.
Yeah,
You,
absolutely.
you, you have to have that property on market quickly in order to convince the other side to accept your condition.
Absolutely. And again, we're seeing a lot of it out there, and it definitely takes a lot of pressure off your buyer if you can put that condition in there. But at the same time, if you haven't prepped them and ready to go, you're losing valuable time and potentially money by delaying.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully, as things pick up over July and August, summer's usually quiet, but you never know. Get another rate
Well, I think the
drop, we'll
smart
see what it
buyers
looks
will
like.
buy. The ones, and I don't mean that, I guess, that way, but those that go out and see the market for what it is and are willing to take a chance and take advantage of this market, I think we'll see a benefit from it. And those that want to wait, I don't think there's any downside to waiting unless you're trying to get into the market and you've got a price point that's limiting you. This may be a more advantageous market to jump into. So if you
Right.
can, it's worthwhile looking at. So I agree. The summer, I think, is going to continue to be pretty slow. It's a coin toss right now. What's going to happen on June 24th with the Bank of Canada? I don't know
Still
if it's
need to
going
see
to
the
go
next
up, down, or
CPI
sideways.
numbers.
Yeah. So whatever that does, again, I don't think it's going to change our world a lot in real estate. I think we're probably going to be looking into the fall before we start seeing any kind of significant shift.
Yeah, fall might be the new spring.
Could be.
All right, well, till then, have a good day. We'll talk soon.
All right. All the best. Talk soon.
All right, see ya.